Alright, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to another video here on the channel, and today I want to talk about a pretty popular news story. You may or may not have heard about this. I feel like, at least if you live in the United States, you probably have already heard about this, at least to a certain extent. You may not know all the details or anything like that, but it's been so widely reported on, and people have been talking about it so frequently that I feel like pretty much people even who don't watch sports probably know. If you don't, an NFL wide receiver playing for the Raiders ended up recently getting in a lot of trouble and actually killing somebody and their dog after driving drunk early in the morning and hitting them going 156 miles per hour shortly before the crash and striking their vehicle at 127 miles per hour, okay? So now that I've told you that, if you already know about this situation, probably already had an opinion on it, but I feel like that those facts alone automatically shift pretty much everybody into the, yeah, this guy is definitely in trouble kind of mentality. Very rightfully so, in my opinion, but this is just a tragic situation all around, man. And honestly, it's heartbreaking to see because somebody lost their life. Some dog also was killed in this situation, and the truth of the matter is it was entirely avoidable, right? This was a situation that never had to happen. We did not have to see any of these news stories about this. We didn't have to see people losing family members and losing their lives over something so stupid. And when you see a situation like that that's so avoidable, I feel like it hits even harder because it's just such a waste of human life, man. And the guy who did this by the name of Henry Ruggs III, once again a former NFL wide receiver now, absolutely destroyed his life because of this dumbass decision that he made. And honestly, I gotta say, it's entirely justified. It's entirely deserved. But unfortunately, a lot of people are actually defending him for what happened, and they think that people are going too hard, right? They're saying things that shouldn't be said. You know, this guy needs help right now, right? God forbid you criticize him for making this kind of decision. So former Las Vegas Raiders wide receiver Henry Ruggs III was speeding at 156 miles per hour with twice the legal limit of alcohol in his system before he slammed into another car, killing that driver. Officials said on Wednesday, Ruggs was in a wheelchair and wearing a neck brace during his first appearance in Las Vegas Justice Court, where a judge set the player's bail at $150,000. Clark County prosecutors had asked for $1 million in bail for Ruggs, who was booked into custody Tuesday night on suspicion of DUI resulting in substantial bodily harm or death and reckless driving, officials said. Ruggs could still face other more serious charges stemming from Tuesday's fatal crash when he was behind the wheel of a Corvette that slammed into the back of a Toyota RAV4 at 3:39 a.m. Pacific time on Tuesday, police said. So let me go ahead and give you guys the quick synopsis, the gruesome, I guess, details of this story before we even really advance any further, because I feel like this is one of those situations that when you actually hear all of the details and you start piecing this whole story together, you genuinely lose all sympathy for this guy, and it becomes more than just a, oops, he made a mistake. Sure, maybe this was a mistake, maybe he didn't genuinely intend on killing somebody, but when you hear these pieces of the story, it just becomes a point of no return, and it just isn't forgivable, man. So, once again, was going almost 160 miles per hour before the crash, just a few seconds beforehand. He struck the person's car going 127 miles per hour, which, by the way, is already almost double pretty much all legal speed limits in the United States, and he had twice the legal limit of alcohol in his system, so it was drinking and driving. The woman who was killed in this accident was 23 years old, and her dog was also killed in this accident as well. Now, you might be wondering, just how bad was this crash, man? I mean, just by hearing the speeds alone, it was already assumed to be a complete goddamn nightmare, but when you realize that this woman didn't die from the impact, it suddenly gets a lot worse. That's right. She was not killed by the impact of him hitting her at almost 130 miles per hour drunk, okay? She was actually killed by the fire that started when she was trapped in the vehicle, and she was agonizingly burned to death in her vehicle because of this mistake. So one of the worst possible ways I could ever imagine dying. If I had to pick a way, man, no way would I ever select burning alive as an option. That has to be goddamn terrible, man. And it goes beyond a mistake at this point, man. People are trying to defend him, saying that this was a mistake. Let's go ahead and talk about that, okay? Sure, you can make the argument that people make mistakes, right? Sometimes you accidentally drop a cup and it shatters. Sometimes you say the wrong thing and you make yourself and maybe other people around you look a little bit like an asshole, okay? But most people don't make the mistake of getting behind the wheel of a Corvette with twice the legal limit of alcohol in their system, driving 160 miles per hour on the public roads, and then fucking literally killing somebody with their car at 130 miles per hour. And I know I keep kind of harping on this whole dog thing, but I feel like it needs to be said that this man genuinely took the life of an innocent animal for absolutely no other reason than recklessness, and it was also an animal that was treasured by, somebody. It was a family pet. So he took what you really could consider essentially a member of somebody's family away by killing that dog as well. All I gotta say, if someone killed my cat, man, I would be fucking traumatized. I'd be devastated. Family pets really are members of the family. If you have not ever been close with an animal before, I don't really want to debate you on this, but genuinely speaking, it hurts way too much when people's animals die. And when someone being a piece of shit is the reason that an animal dies like this, I feel like that's when you can really start to consider them, not really, I guess, redeemable. So, two creatures died, right? Someone died and their dog died. Completely avoidable situation, and in the most agonizing way that I can imagine. I don't feel sympathy for this guy, and I don't believe that he's defendable. But, I guess, there are people out there who do think that, and I'm not sure exactly where that's coming from. I'm not sure if people are defending him because they drink and drive themselves and they have a guilty conscience and don't want to feel bad about what happened, or if these people are potentially Las Vegas Raiders fans, or what's going on. I don't know, man, but there is no defense for this guy. It wouldn't matter if he was even Tom Brady or like the president of the United States. It doesn't matter, man. This is not an excusable situation, and somebody has to pay for this, and obviously it's going to be the person who did it, which let's consider that fact, right? So you're a professional football player, okay? Not even just a professional football player, you are legitimate in the NFL. This wasn't some practice squad scrub, right? This was a fucking player on a roster being paid $16 million guaranteed through his contract. You had the entire world at your fingertips. This guy is 22 years old. He is barely older than I am, okay? And had the world at his fingertips, and instead of just enjoying the success, instead of just protecting himself, and in turn everybody else on the road by not being a complete fucking moron, this guy decided that he was gonna drink and drive, and look what it ended up costing people in this situation. Drinking and driving is not excusable at any period of time, okay? I get it, right? That you don't want to leave your car somewhere, or you don't want to go through the trouble of finding an Uber, but at the end of the day, that fucking headache, those issues that you have to deal with in the moment, are worth somebody's life, are worth your own life, are worth the payment on that ticket, and of course now spending years upon years in jail and paying all these fines and everything with your NFL money. Like, it's just absolutely fucking mind-blowing that this is even a situation. I don't know if you guys also know this, but what makes this even more inexcusable is that NFL players actually have their own private chauffeuring service, okay? So let me go ahead and break this down to you guys. All current or previous NFL players have a 24/7, 365 days a year chauffeur service that will come and pick you up and take you anywhere in the United States for like $90 an hour. Now sure, if you're working at fucking Best Buy, $90 an hour for a private chauffeur is probably not a good answer, but when you're making $16 million to play football, I have a feeling that $90 and a little bit of a fucking tip might be going a long way. I feel like that's not going to hurt this guy's bank account. There was no excuse. This wasn't some broke bum who couldn't afford a fucking Uber or anything like that. But yet people are defending it, even though all of these circumstances are true, all of these details of the case have been publicly announced, basically. Apparently this is a guy worth defending, and I've seen a couple different defenses for this guy. One of them being, oh, he made a mistake, bro. You can't judge him. You don't know what you would do in that situation, bro. Well, I can tell you one goddamn thing I wouldn't do. I wouldn't be driving a fucking Corvette at 160 miles per hour in Las Vegas, Nevada, 2 times the legal alcohol limit, okay? It just isn't defensible. Yeah, he made a mistake. Did he mean to kill somebody? Probably not, but dude, when you're going 160 miles per hour, that's a fucking inevitability. You can die in a car accident going like 40 miles per hour, let alone 160, okay? You're essentially a fucking human missile at that point. There is no reason ever that a car should be going that speed on public roads, unless the world is ending and if it's like one of those Hollywood scenes where the fucking highway behind you's crumbling into the fucking abyss. Yeah, then you go ahead. Then you go ahead and go 160 miles per hour. That's when you got that one. But when you're fucking drunk and you're just out driving in public because you're an NFL star and you think you can get away with it, you can go fuck yourself. There's a family out there that will no longer be seeing somebody, okay? There's people out there losing a loved one that they did not fucking deserve to lose. There is no defense for it. If he made the decision, consciously or intoxicated, doesn't matter. If he made the decision to do what he did and continue doing it and kill somebody because of it, I don't really feel like that motherfucker deserves some sympathy. In fact, you know what I think he deserves? I think he deserves some time behind some cold, hard iron fucking bars in jail. And that's exactly what it looks like he's going to get. From what I know, as of right now, Henry Ruggs, the player who did this, is facing 2 to 20 years on felony DUI charges in the state of Nevada. Other potential charges could be followed up with and could intend, I guess, on getting him in jail even longer, which honestly I wouldn't be opposed to. If we're being real, if it was up to me, I was the judge or whatever here, bro would be spending life in jail. It's that simple. I don't feel sympathy for people who do shit like this. You know, you can make the argument, oh, it was a mistake. When your mistakes lead to people dying, you pay consequences, especially when you know what you're doing. I mean, like I said, this guy is barely older than me, okay? They've been teaching us the impact of drinking and driving for fucking decades. There have been commercials on TV. There have been billboards. There have been people who talk about it in schools. There have been social media campaigns. He was aware of the risks of what was happening before he started drinking. If you asked this motherfucker before he was drunk if what he was about to do was a good idea, answer usually gonna be a no, okay? And with that being said, this motherfucker deserves what's coming to him. He doesn't deserve that money that he got from the NFL. And from what I understand, the Raiders are moving to void the rest of his contract to avoid paying him millions of dollars for being a fucking complete distraction to the team and a borderline murderer in real life. So, with that being said, thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like. Subscribe if you're brand new around here on the channel. Follow me over on Twitter and Twitch at @SubToOptimus. Make sure to check out Shop Opti down below. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus. Well, just not fucking supporting this guy. You know, throw the jail at him at this point. And signing out.